Hello and welcome to Keele University. My name is Hugo and I am Postgraduate Student Recruitment Manager here at Keele. Our Postgraduate Open Event today will cover a really wide range of different subjects, give you an opportunity to learn a bit more about the university, to meet some of your potential academics, and some of the other brilliant teams who would be supporting you through a postgraduate course here at Keele. The structure of what is here in the UK a foggy morning, but will be a few hours wherever you are in the world. It will be about half an hour for this talk, so 10 to 10:30 in UK time, and then after that we will have another hour of sorry about that, if you could hear that, we had a short fire alarm test there. As I say though, from 10:30 you will be able to you'll be sent links to breakout rooms with our academics and professional services teams, where you'll be able to meet them, talk about things like potential dissertation supervisors, the topics that you might learn in a postgraduate talk course, entry requirements, visas, how we would support you and that kind of thing. Throughout the whole event though, we will have our virtual campus tours available on our website. And all the links that you need will be sent to you via email. So for now, please do just sit back and enjoy this welcome talk. I'll be joined by two guests for the next half an hour. The first of which is our very own Vice-Chancellor, Professor Trevor McMillan. He's going to talk to you, first of all, about Keele University as an institution, give you some historical background, and talk to you a bit about why it might be a really good choice for you. So, thank you very much, Trevor, for being here with us. It is a pleasure to have you. Our students, I'm sure, are very interested in learning a bit more about Keele University. So, if you're ready, please can you take it away?
Okay. Thank you, Hugo, and hello everyone. As Hugo said, I'm Trevor McMillan and I have the great privilege of being the Vice-Chancellor here at Keele, and it's a pleasure to welcome you wherever you are in the UK or around the world to this virtual event. Indeed, some of you might already be students at Keele, and again, a warm welcome to you too. It's not unusual for our own students to stay on for postgraduate study, which I think in itself a testament to the overall experience that our students have at Keele at undergraduate level that then transfers into postgraduate. Keele was actually formed in 1949, so if you were on campus today you'd see a number of posters around celebrating our 75th anniversary. We were formed by this young man on the screen, Lord Lindsay. He had been Vice-Chancellor at Oxford University. And he formed a university in 1949 with a very clear remit of preparing our students for what was seen then in 1949 as a very uncertain world that lay ahead of them. Nobody really knew what jobs would be available, for example, or how society would work through. It's an awful lot of uncertainty. So what is it that as a university we can do in order to make sure that our students and then ultimately our graduates benefit from their experience that allows them to cope and indeed thrive and make a big impact on society once they leave university. And we think the ethos that sits behind a lot of what Lord Lindsay talked about is as relevant today as it was then. We've all learned a lot in the last 4 or 5 years at the very least around how uncertain life can be, how quickly it can change right around the world, and how things can take a while to settle down. We've also increasingly learned that the way ahead for everyone. It's not going to be an absolute clear path. We are very conscious that those of you who are studying now, at whatever stage in your lives you are, may well be set for a future working life which will need you to move around between different careers. And so we very much see it as part of our duty almost to prepare you for that degree of change that inevitably will come from that. At the heart is clearly academic excellence, and I'll come back to that in a second. But one of the elements that Lord Lindsay was very, very keen on was that a university thrives when it is seen as a well-integrated community. He talked about a community of scholars, and by that he meant both staff and students working together for the advancement and development of them as individuals, both staff and students, but also in terms of pushing ahead with what was good for the world around us. And at Keele, that sense of community is very much here, but it's also facilitated by our beautiful campus that you see on the screen. It's over 600 acres. We think it's probably the biggest in the UK. It might even be the biggest in Europe, but that's quite hard to actually fully determine. But nevertheless, it is a large campus. Although interestingly, quite a tight core. So the bit that you can see on the screen now is actually effectively all of the active parts of campus, the academic departments, the buildings, the accommodation, the social side for students, including, you can see at the bottom of the screen, some of our sports facilities and in the center of the campus, our student union. So a lot of it at its core, very, very close together and not very far at all to walk between the different elements. The bit you don't see on the screen actually is at least as big, if not bigger. And that's much more open space. We have a large old building, country house effectively at the center of our campus, and beyond that, trees, lakes, plenty of open space, which many of our students really, really enjoy at different times, whether it just be to get away from each other, whether it be to celebrate various aspects of their progression through their time here at Keele. But the campus overall really is an important part of facilitating that sense of community that we have here. Oops. Sorry, I'm clicking on too much. The campus is also interesting in that it allows us to do things that, for example, city centres would not allow us to do. It allows us to develop new ideas on campus and use the campus itself for pushing the university forward in all sorts of different ways. And the picture again you have in front of you is a picture of our latest toys, two wind turbines, 12,500 solar panels, generating in excess of 50% of the electricity that we use here on campus. That is not just a service, not just a great thing to do, which it clearly is. We have a very strong passion for doing our bit in terms of the climate emergency and what we can do around energy in particular. But it also allows us to perform research and indeed education in the context of that sustainability and the way that we handle it on campus. So a real multi-campus that benefits in all sorts of different ways. Clearly what you're going to be hearing largely about in this session today is around the education side of what we're going to do. And I'm pretty confident, I'm very confident in fact, that you will see the excellence that comes through a lot of things that we do. And there are a number of different accolades that I could mention. The one on the screen where we were voted by our students as the best university in the country in 2022 in one of the surveys that's done. I would just add a Teaching in Excellence framework, which is a national evaluation in the UK, which again we were gold for this time last year when the latest iteration was produced, and we're one of only 15 universities in the country that has had that gold accolade in both of the national exercises that have been run over the last 6 or 7 years. So I'm pretty sure that excellence will come through in all aspects of what you see today. Clearly within the campus and in keeping with that excellence, it's important to us that we maintain our facilities at a level which helps you as students, if you come here, actually perform at your best and maximize your time. And whether you would be interested in the science, where there are new teaching labs that have just been built over the last few years, into the business school, where there's a new building that's only been open for 3 or 4 years, whether it's music technology studios or a clinical simulation center that we've just opened in the last few weeks. All of those are really cutting edge facilities that are available for our students as part of their studies. And on top of that, we've been trying to make sure that our students' support services and our entertainment side of the campus, the social side of campus, has also been enhanced in all sorts of different ways. So when you get to come onto campus, you'd be able to see all of these different things. When you study at postgraduate level, and obviously this is a little bit different from undergraduate, it's a progression from all of that, then we feel it's really, really important to do that in the context of a strong research environment. So the research that we do here on campus inevitably interconnects with our postgraduate education a little bit more than it does at undergraduate. And the research here is very strong right across campus. We have world-class research in many parts of the university, whether that again be on the health side, the global health elements, for example, community health, through into the sciences. I've already talked about sustainability as one of our elements, and that's an interesting example, because that's not just science, it's around the social science and how everything interconnects there. So the staff that you would be interacting with on your course are very much at the cutting edge of their discipline and able to give you that up-to-date view on what your discipline actually is all about at the moment, and what the latest debates are, and what the latest knowledge is, and actually what the latest skills are that you can then develop beyond that. Just for my last slide though, just to come back to this idea of the Keele community, because it really is very strong here, and it is a little bit different. It's hard to define, but it is something around that interaction between the staff and the students, and indeed the support that the students give each other. And you'll hear more about some of the specific elements of that in a moment. But I just want to emphasize that actually it is something that we take seriously. It's something that gives our students a sense of identity. It's something that allows our students, when they come to Keele, to really find a passion and take advantage of the big diversity of students that we have here, from all aspects of society, from all around the world. We have alumni in 120 different countries around the world, which shows the level of diversity that we can have here on campus. And by benefiting from those interactions as well as the academic studies, that's one of the things that also then fulfills the original Lindsay vision of actually making sure that you're prepared as you can be for leaving university and going out into that world of work and really making a big difference. So welcome again to this open event. I'm sure you'll get all of the information that you need. If you don't get the information directly given to you, then please use all of the opportunities that we're making available to ask the questions of whoever you interact with, either during the day or afterwards. I'm sure you'll find something here at Keele that interests you and tempts you to come and join us for a postgraduate degree. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Trevor. So my next guest is going to be someone talking about student experience. We're going to take a short break in between to talk perhaps a bit about pricing and how you might come to afford all this. So we have lots of support, financial support available for our postgraduate students, whether they're home students or international students. So home students can benefit from the Keele Graduate Scholarship. Our own Keele graduates can benefit from the alumni discount, whether they're home or international. And international students can benefit from our Keele Postgraduate Global Scholarship, which is between £3,000 and £5,000 off the cost of a course. Students who are looking for continuing on to their degrees from their current Keele degrees can also apply in a very easy way, and their alumni discount would stack with those other available scholarships to try and make things as easy as possible. For a full list of course prices and that kind of thing, and for any other information that perhaps you don't get today, just go to our website. It's very easy to navigate. All the information you need should be on the page for your course. So my next guest is a recent graduate of Keele who has some really good stories to tell about life at Keele, what it's like to be a student, graduate opportunities, this kind of thing. Welcome, Ellie. It is lovely to see you. Please go ahead.
Yeah, absolutely. So my name's Ellie. I'm currently an undergraduate student recruitment and access officer here at Keele. I was very recently a postgraduate student myself. I graduated technically back in January, so less than a year ago, but I technically finished back September 2023. So I did a one-year master's course in English literature, which was brilliant. I really enjoyed myself. And today I'm here to have a quick chat with you about kind of the student experience, a bit about student life, and kind of that side of campus and Keele. Will this go forward? Thank you. It is just worth mentioning before I get into kind of the student life aspect of it, another option available to a lot of postgraduate students, depending on the course you're on, are versions of student placements. So it's worth throughout the day, as you're having a chat with different people and different academics, different services with Keele, having a chat and see if that's an option available to you in some form, because it is a brilliant opportunity to take on, get some extra work experience that we do offer for a lot of our courses. So it is worth having that conversation at some point today. But yeah, so going on into the Keele experience a little bit then. So one of our main areas on campus for postgraduate students is our Keele Postgraduate Association. So the KPA, which it's fondly known as, is a building itself. It's the clubhouse, is a bar and restaurant used as a social area for a lot of different students across the university. But the association itself is specifically for postgraduate students and getting them some support. So we're really privileged to have this on campus because we're one of the last in the UK. I think we're one of the last universities just generally that offer this kind of support. So it's really brilliant to have our own dedicated association on campus. Like I said, it is a social area, but some of the support that they do offer is we have a dedicated KPA team of officers who look after our postgraduate students and offer them different versions of support. You can still access support through things like our Students' Union, which undergraduate students can also access through those officers, and also the social areas in the Students' Union as well. But it's brilliant to have that specific space for postgraduate students. Another thing for support that we can offer as well through our KPA is the KPA bursary, which is a part of many available for students looking to enhance themselves academically and professionally, and to engage in some extracurricular activities. So it's a really brilliant option there. So moving on to living at Keele then. So we have a couple of different accommodations on campus. So we have 4 main accommodations on campus, and that's home to over 2,700 rooms. So loads and loads of areas on campus, all kind of directly around our central campus, so really close to a lot of different facilities within our campus. And we have a range of shared facilities up to ensuite rooms. We also have some accessible rooms available. So really brilliant opportunity living on campus. I did my undergraduate here at Keele, so I lived on campus in my first year. For my postgraduate year, I did live off campus with some friends, but I loved living on campus, so it's a brilliant opportunity if that's something you did want to do. As you can see at the bottom of that slide there, we do have a accommodation guarantee available for students applying for September entry. You can still apply for January entry. Unfortunately, it's just that the guarantee only applies for September entry, but still worth looking into if you are looking at applying for September. So then moving on to our student services then. So we've recently collated all of our student services into one central area on campus, which makes it much more accessible for students accessing that kind of support. We have a lot of support available through our student support services. So things like financial support, disability and inclusion, careers and employability services, things like that. It's really easy to get in contact, face-to-face appointments, if you wanted to have a chat online, things like that. On top of our academic support that we can offer as well through things like academic mentors and also your student experience and support officers. So lots and lots of support for students across the campus depending on what you need. So then thinking about coming on and off campus, depending on where you live, chances are you'll have to travel in and out of campus a little bit at some point. We're a really well connected campus, so we have the most commonly used one is the 25 bus service, which goes from one end of campus all the way through campus down into Newcastle under Lyme, which is our closest town, across to Stoke, towards Stoke Station. We have a bus stop directly outside of Stoke Station for that, and then across into Hanley as well, where it ends. So really well connected. Thinking about Stoke Station, you'll probably travel in and out through that at some point during your studies here as well. So we're about an hour and a half away from London, about 40 minutes away from Manchester, and about a 50-minute train from Birmingham. So really easy access to these larger cities and the airports as well if you're coming from a different country as well. So then I spoke a little bit about Newcastle under Lyme just there. Like I said, this is our closest town. This is where a lot of students will go and live. So like I said, I lived on campus in my first year, but then I moved into Newcastle under Lyme for my 3 years after that, including my postgraduate year. And it's a really lovely area. We have a brilliant high street with lots of retail options, lots of socialising areas, coffee shops, bars, restaurants. We also have things like cinema. Recently, I did a laser tag with my colleagues, which was really exciting, which is based in Newcastle as well. So a lot of different things to get involved in, a lot of opportunities to do different things with different people as well. And then thinking out into our local area, so Stoke itself has recently been awarded World Craft City status for its contributions through pottery. We have things like the Emma Bridgewater factory here, which is really exciting. Further out into Hanley, like I mentioned before, we have our larger shopping centre, which is also called the Potteries. So you've got that larger retail area as well as Newcastle under Lyme. And then some more exciting things like the Monkey Forest, if you're interested in animals. We also have Alton Towers really close by if you're a bit of an adrenaline junkie. And then kind of further out from Stoke, we have things like the Peak Districts, which are really beautiful nature areas. If you like hiking, if you like long drives through beautiful areas, that's really nice to have around us as well. But yeah, that's all from me, so I'll pass back to you, Hugo.
Thank you very much, Ellie. So that's it from our guests. To recap what the rest of the event is going to look like, from 10:30 onwards, you'll be able to go into our breakout rooms and talk to your potential academics, professional services teams, and other people who will be supporting you should you decide to study at Keele. All day, we have a virtual campus tour available on our website as well. Which will give you the opportunity to have a look at some of the facilities, get a bit more of a sense for our campus. Even after the event, there are still plenty of things that you can do to stay up to date with Keele. I recommend adding us on Instagram. Our handle is just Keele University, and you can see the logo behind me, which is what our profile picture is. And that's a really good way of keeping up to date, seeing some nice pictures about campus, but there are also some quite good videos on there about things like clubs and societies you can join, student experience, international student experience as well. So quite a good way of finding out a bit more about the kinds of things that we've discussed today. So thank you very much. I hope that you have a good experience talking to our academics and our professional services, and I hope to see you at another event in the future. Thank you very much.